Hello everyone, welcome back to Off the Wall. My name is Bogz. Today I'm going to be reviewing Ahsoka episode 8, the finale of Ahsoka season 1. I'll also be giving my overall thoughts on Ahsoka season 1 as well. Quick reminder, if you are new to the channel at all, please consider subscribing, like the video, and comment. Let us know your thoughts on this episode and the season overall. So let's get straight to the review. So has Star Wars been saved, or is it more or similar to what we've had before under Disney Star Wars? My overall thoughts of the finale are quite complicated. So for me, this wasn't the best episode of the series, but a lot of interesting things did happen. My overall consensus is that it did open a lot of doors moving forward into the future, but it didn't close too many behind them. So lots of questions, not too many answers. Unfortunately, things that did get wrapped up was Thrawn's understanding that Ahsoka is, of course, the apprentice of Anakin Skywalker, and to not doubt her and to understand that she can pretty much accomplish anything, even as a single solo Jedi. She will find a way to overcome obstacles. All he can really do is try his best to slow her down. Really liked the Huyang and Ezra scene where Ezra's building a lightsaber. Huyang talks to him about his master Kanan Jarrus and explained that he taught Kanan how to build a lightsaber, or Caleb Dune. And he actually gives him the same piece that he gave to Kanan some 20 years ago in the Jedi Academy. Yeah, I really like Huyang and Ezra's dialogue. And to be honest, I like Ezra in the whole show. You know, 3 episodes that he was in, the actor did an absolutely fantastic job. You know, full of charm, full of wit. I like his mannerisms, his performance, his energy was really appreciated, and quite similar to the the animated version as well. And the beginning kind of opening scene of the Night Sisters was really cool. You know, initiating Morgan Elsbeth into their order and giving her some extra kind of Night Sister dark magic power and giving her Mother Talzin's sword. And although I do have my issues with the whole kind of zombie stormtrooper thing, it was kind of cool to see like the zombie stormtroopers, though. Although when they were kind of reviving them in their little order, I did think that it was something, coming up with that spell. I did actually think they were going to revive or kind of make a villain that we've seen before, a dark user, whether if it's Mother Talzin or a Night Sister, or potentially someone like Darth Maul back from the dead, or Vader, someone to take on Ahsoka that would kind of blow our minds. But we didn't get that. We got kind of zombie. And I kind of thought, oh, is that it? Like all the kind of magic themes that were being built up in this episode, and they're just kind of bringing stormtroopers back from the dead in like zombies. But it was okay. The episode ends with Balin standing on massive sculptures of the Mortis gods, or particularly the father and the son. The daughter seems to be damaged, or the head kind of not appearing there. Perhaps because she's still in kind of reality and looking after Ahsoka via the Morai. Who knows? And we see kind of Balin looking off into the distance, into a kind of a light. And that's obviously identical from what we see from the Mortis arc in the Clone Wars, where Anakin kind of sees a light in the distance on the planet, and it turns out to be the father. But having said all this, there were plenty of rough edges in this episode. Pacing is really weird. The action sequence are not clean at all, particularly the lightsaber stuff, often from Sabine and also from Ahsoka, and even the sword stuff from Morgan Elsbeth. I thought Ezra was pretty good, pretty proficient. I did like him with his saber. And I have an issue overall in this season with the lightsaber stuff. Lightsaber fighting needs to be a lot better. Hopefully this will improve moving forward. It's not as good as I want it to be, or as it should be, to be honest. With the Anakin Ahsoka stuff, that was probably my best, but they really need to step up with this stuff. You know, some of the, like I said, I think I commented every episode where Sabine's lightsaber fighting is really bad at times. Another thing that did not like at all in any of the kind of final 3 episodes was Thrawn and his absolutely anticlimactic plans and strategy, and not seeing his full tactical prowess. We didn't see anything masterful, any kind of grand plans or great theories that he has, like great reveals that we've seen the character have, whether if it's in Rebels or books from Legends in particular. But we didn't get really any of that stuff. We got kind of a few lame plans, a few stalling tactics, willing to sacrifice his kind of short or small garrison that he has. When they found him on the planet, and he sends 2 TIE fighters, you can see they've got kind of at least 8 behind him, and he sends 2, and then he kind of disables Ahsoka's ship. He then employs a kind of ground assault to take out the Jedi, and he's still got more TIE fighters there. Just send more TIE fighters to kind of destroy a ship and try and take them out. Things like that. There are some logical kind of issues throughout. Really underwhelmed with Thrawn's grand strategist, appeal. It just wasn't there for me, and it wasn't good enough. The finale also, as I said in my opening, it did not close any major arcs, and it just sets up things for the future. It still leaves me optimistic, and I do like that to a certain extent, but there's so many things that are left on the table, which I kind of come to a bit later on. But even just small things like what are in the crates that were being transported, or the cargo in particular that was being transported by Thrawn, it's not even mentioned in the final episode. And obviously, we know from watching, the Clone Wars, etc., that they are the Mortis gods. Balin did not have a line in the final episode. So it ends off where he's looking to the distance, saying that, there's greater things on this power that you can't imagine, to his apprentice. There's no discussion about what it is, and they just left that open-ended and haven't closed that arc. As a series 1 in general, it should close a lot of arcs. For example, let's say something like House of the Dragon. You can watch season 1 and don't have to watch any other season and be happy with that series of television, because characters go on arcs, it opens and closes a lot of stories, etc. And yes, they're left on cliffhangers, absolutely, some things, but with this season, they're just question after question, door opening, and none of them closing. So obviously some small things closing, like Sabine using the Force, let's say, or Ahsoka kind of stepping out of Anakin's shadow. Yeah, these are small, really small arcs in terms of the grand scheme of things and the bigger kind of mythology building things that Filoni is introducing into this series. They're not closing any of them. So I do understand if you're watching this as a Star Wars fan, or even particularly as a casual Star Wars fan, or like just a general Disney Plus fan, you're going to be so confused with this show and upset that they're just building things and building things and building things, which is absolutely frustrating, and I feel it too. And is it the case of Filoni's overall storytelling hindering the arc of making it a good season of television? You can see that potential. Hopefully that's not the case, but I can understand them comments. We do get Ezra coming home back to our universe, and it leaves the rest of the characters, Sabine, Ahsoka, Balin, and Shin, outside of the galaxy. So where does that leave us in terms of the rebellion? Obviously, the rebellion is, Ezra's caught with that. And why did Ezra wear the stormtrooper suit when going to see the rebellion? Like, he should have just took his helmet off. Would the other rebellion people recognize Ezra? I don't know. A lot of them never met him. That was all a little strange. But obviously, I'm glad he's kind of back with Chopper and stuff like that. And also, he never saw, or I'm presume Sabine told him about Jason Sandula, but he definitely hasn't met him and things like that. It would have been nice for Jason to see Ezra and would have seen his reaction and stuff. That would have been cool. See, surely Ezra is going to go back to that galaxy to try and rescue his friend. And we all know that, Ezra is proficient with speaking with animals in the Force. He got there in the first place via the Purgle. So, if he gets there again via the Purgle, it's not really closing that arc for him, because he's going to go back to that galaxy or that planet anyway. Yeah, so what is Thrawn doing moving forward? He's on Dathomir, but what is his plan? What was his overall, what's his deal with the Night Sisters in general? Why is he on Dathomir exactly? Get more undead characters, or like an army, or I'm not sure. How is he going to revive the Empire, or what is his plan? Just loosely, even. I mean, we have no idea. And that's not even talking about the whole World Between Worlds arc. How did Ahsoka get there? What was Anakin doing there? Who pulled her out? Obviously, the World Between Worlds in Rebels was so much more vast in terms of the potential and ability of that place. Other events in the Star Wars universe. Obviously, we did kind of get that with Ahsoka and Anakin, but how was she there in the first place? And why didn't she mention anything to Ezra? There's so many questions that, it's just left me a bit baffled, really. A lot of mystery, a lot of, I'm going to use that analogy quite a lot of doors opening. But yeah, it's definitely adds to the frustration. It kind of feels like there hasn't been that much progress in the show. Filler episodes, to be honest. But I did like the way the finale sets things up for the future. So whether that be Thrawn taking on the rebellion, whether that be the potential of any other Jedi, Ezra kind of seeks, whether if it's Luke Skywalker or Cal Kestis, because he also has a friend or part of his team that is a Night Sister as well, former Night Sister Merrin. So potentially exciting link ups there in terms of Force users and Jedi. So now I'm just going to give my overall thoughts on the season in general. I thought episodes 4 to 6 were really good. It really lifted my spirits up with the show. And just because, before that, we've had a number of hits, let's say since Mandalorian season 2. So it has been a bit of a struggle. This show has reinvigorated a lot of Star Wars fans, brought a lot of passion back, brought a lot of fans in, and it's initiated a lot of discussions and theories and watch alongs, etc. So I'm happy for them people in particular. And perhaps this season is the start of something grand. We know it's going to culminate in the Filoni movie, where that movie will have this Favreau-verse / Filoni-verse of the Mandalorian characters, Ahsoka, Skeleton Crew, all coming together. I believe that they'll kind of team up against Thrawn and his kind of army that he's building, but we'll see. Yeah, to start kind of wrapping up my overall thoughts, episodes 4 to 6 were really strong. The rest were okay to poor. But having said that, I still appreciate Filoni's storytelling vision. I like the ballsy moves that he does, meaning that he's introducing bigger philosophical mystery and thoughts and theories and tying grander things into the story, whilst trying, like I said, moving the story forward with these big mythological things and respecting what has come before him, whether if it's characters, story arcs, themes, respecting the heck out of what George Lucas did before him, in my opinion. And I don't think I've seen anything else except that Filoni has been a part of, whether it's, like I said, Mandalorian or Rebels or Tales of the Jedi, that has done anything like this. And it is the kind of Star Wars that I would like to see personally, that goes deep into the mythology, lore, things like that. And I do find it funny that now people are, excited about the War Between Worlds. I remember the vitriol and absolute hatred of introducing time travel into Star Wars. So I just find that funny, but I do really like that stuff. I think Disney has done pretty much a terrible job over the last few years managing the brand. And I do hope kind of everything almost is streamed through Filoni before it gets passed out and ties into, especially around this time, ties into his storytelling at some level. He doesn't have to be involved in every single project, but anything involving, let's say, a George Lucas era story or involving George Lucas characters, I really wish they went through Filoni. So for me, the show hasn't quite saved Star Wars or anything like that. Absolutely left me more optimistic than I was before the show. I do appreciate a lot of aspects in the show, particularly the respect it had for Anakin Skywalker and the way that they've used him. And it was kind of fun. And I just really liked him being back in the show. As I said, I appreciate the things that Filoni's trying to do, pushing the storytelling forward and respecting the legacy that has come before him and the kind of mythos, because I believe it respects what Lucas did before. And it was kind of in line with some of the things that he was doing. And I believe Filoni will be picking up some of the scripts that he left when he sold Star Wars to Lucasfilm. He will be picking some of them story elements up, but bringing the Mortis arcs into live action, only he can do this. No one else is going to be touching that stuff. So I appreciate that, because that's the the stuff that I love. And we'll see more, because we don't know enough about them Mortis gods, and Anakin and Ahsoka was an integral part of that. So we shall see. And obviously, I have to give a special shout out to my favorite performance in the show, which was Ray Stevenson. Fortunately, he has passed before the show actually aired, so gutted that he won't be in the show moving forward. The question is now, what do they do with this character? And I've always said this, any character that kind of passes away, I do believe that the story comes above everything, meaning that I believe that they should recast that character, and that will be a great honor for him, because he was one of my favorite villains, just the Disney era in general. I thought he was an absolutely fantastic villain, the way he portrayed him, his fighting style, his depth that he would bring to the role, his look, his attitude. I see Lee Schreiber being linked to the role in particular online. I think that'd be a great choice. But yeah, what a fantastic addition. Him and Ezra, I thought were brilliant live action additions, but what a brilliant performance he left with us. So hats off to you, sir. But anyway, that has been it. That is our season 1 review of the Ahsoka series. What do you guys think of this season and the finale in general? Thoughts and theories, please, in the comments below moving forward. And we will catch you guys on the next review on Off the Wall.